the 2026 annual meeting open, and let's begin with a prayer. Let us pray. Almighty and ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present with those who take counsel for the renewal and mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory. Guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Through prearranged agreement, I'm appointing Meg Justice as the meeting clerk. Thank you very much. I'd like to begin, first of all, by recognizing the three members of vestry whose terms end with this meeting. Dan Conahan, Jennifer Moore, and Jim LeBlanc. Jim, unfortunately, is suffering with some significant health issues. He's at home watching online right now and couldn't be here in person. But the three of these members over the last year, and in Jennifer's case, 3 years, have been incredible. They've brought their own experiences, they brought their own wisdom, they brought their own gifts, and I think it's made vestry over the last several years richer for the experience because of the diversity of those experiences and gifts that they brought. So Dan, thank you. Dan willingly stepped in. Justin McCarthy had to step away before the conclusion of his term, so Dan graciously agreed to fill the last year of that term, which I know coming in 2/3 of the way through the game is difficult, but thank you for doing that. Jennifer, as always, thank you for everything you've done. I have a sense, though, that just because you're not an elected member of vestry, you will not necessarily be absent from the vestry meetings. We'll deal with that on the 19th. And Jim, if you're watching, thank you as well. I know that with everything you had going on in your life, you still made yourself available for meetings and to be here with us and share not only your expertise and your experiences, but for a couple of years also serving as the clerk of the vestry and taking minutes. So thank you for that as well. So I would like to recognize the three clerks. Now to elect our new members. And in the Diocese of Southwestern Virginia, the criteria is fairly cut and dry. Communicants in good standing, known to the rector, known to the treasurer, and giving of their time, talent, and treasure. And so we have three outstanding candidates who have agreed to stand for election to fill these three seats that are opening up today. Kim Grant, who is ill today and can't be here with us, but she and her husband Al joined the church about 2.5 years ago and attend regularly at the 8:30 service. Gary Verser, who, if you'll raise your hand, also attends the 8:30 service, is an active participant in our adult forum, and actually serves on the board of Interfaith Outreach Association with me and Jennifer. And Warren Groot, sitting in the back as well, who's been with us several years as well, also joins us every week for our adult forum. And God bless you for this, agreed to serve on the internal audit committee for the annual audit that we had to do for the diocese. So I figure if you're willing to do the audit and willing to do vestry, you're well gifted. So those are our three candidates. I am required to ask if there are any others on the floor who would either like to put themselves up or nominate someone else. And it's always silence. So since we have three candidates for 3 seats, I will take a motion to accept the slate by acclamation. I have a motion by Bill Wright, second from Meg. All in favor? Aye. Congratulations. Welcome to the vestry. I hope everybody had a chance when this was emailed earlier this week, and if not, picked one up today, had a chance to read through and look at all the reports, a lot of which we'll summarize in the next couple of minutes. But I would like to accept a motion to adopt the written reports for this annual meeting. Greg moved. Dan seconded. All in favor? Aye. And like that, we're halfway through the agenda. I'd like to invite Jennifer up to give the treasurer's report.
Who would have thought in 2019 when who would have thought when Tom Moore in 2019 said Jennifer, him and Brad, I think, convinced me to come to the vestry, that I would be the treasurer still 5 years later, 7 years later, and 8 audits and 7 years treasurer, and still learning all about this stuff. And it keeps evolving because as our church is growing, and we have a lot of monies moving around. We have a lot of monies coming in, and we have a lot of monies going out, and that is a good problem / headache to have. It's really amazing what you guys have done. And and I want to say in August, maybe it was September, I'm like, how in the world are we going to pull this year off? So we sent out the letter that says what everybody owes, and everybody got their pledges caught up, because we all take a little break during the summer, I think, because we're just busy with things. Then, so I'm like, okay, we're gonna break even, and we're asking for a little more in pledges this year, just to, I always worry about starting the year in the red. And then at the end of the year, we have these gifts that come in, and we have a surplus. And it's amazing that happens. And part of that is just for you guys working so hard with your time and talent and treasure and supporting everything we're trying to do as a church. Also, we had this gift that I was not expecting at all come in at the end of the month, which I'm going to say is from God, that He's like, okay, you guys have this. And without that, we would have broken even. Like, we would have still been in the black by barely, but this way we were over the black. So we did end the year in the black. And did everybody get a chance to look at the report? For 2026, we're going to start in the red. I did not roll over the amount like I did last year, because it's hard to track in the computer, but I do it on a spreadsheet. So we're going to start the year at a negative $25,000. If you take the positive that we ended with a 10,000, that's a negative 15,000, which is, I see no reason that we're not going to end up breaking even or in the black again. We do have money in the bank to cover whatever we don't have, which is always a blessing to have. And we have many resources to accomplish that. One of the things that really, and I'm still working on these numbers, the outreach on top of your pledges and was amazing. Like, we had the number that I had started with this morning when I redid the numbers again is 8,600 in outreach, just from donations that you guys have brought in and then we put back out. And that is amazing for the size of this parish. We have 38 pledgers that pledge, but then we give several people give to the plate. And this year we had the 38 pledgers, and our pledge amount increased by $3,000. So that was very generous of you guys to do that and support us in that way. Our investments are doing great. Dan Conahan came and looked at our numbers and taught me how to read all those numbers, research those numbers, encouraged me to call Bank of America to figure out what all of that meant. And Justin watched me go through this learning process. And so with the help of them and David, my husband, helped me like look at the big picture. I was able to move the investments around, and we actually have a cash flow for the cemetery now. A couple of years ago, I think maybe it was the beginning of last year, we had $7,000 left to spend in the cemetery. This year we're ending up with $28,000 in the bank for the cemetery, which has also been moved to a money market account, so we earn interest there. We saved money by changing our landscape company. We saved about $3,000 this year, including them doing the mulch, doing a leaf removal for us, and we only had one work day. That doesn't mean that the rights are different people don't come through and pick up sticks or trim the bushes or do different things on the property, but we're working together as a team to make all that happen. And so that's more money to have towards the big projects in the cemetery, like cleaning, the trees, maintenance, all that kind of stuff. And so that's a really, really good feeling. And I really appreciate Justin's help, Dan's help, encouragement from Matt, and all the other people that were involved in helping me learn all of that stuff. So, are there any questions about anything? As you can see, we did the sidewalk repair. We did get a grant for that. So, how much do we?
Covered about 72% of it.
Yeah. So I think we paid maybe $2,700 of that. So the sidewalk repair was done. The expense for the stone putting in was covered. So many different things that have just been great here. And one thing that I noticed was under our programs for fellowship and receptions, we spent a lot more money there, but we had that end of the year picnic with Kaya's Kitchen coming in, and we got the tents and the chairs, and those are the fun things we get to spend our money on, because fellowship is just as important as all of this maintenance and outreach that we do, because we have to remember we're a community together and serving the community outside also. Any other questions? Any questions about anything? And I keep working all these numbers. These are the beginning of the numbers that I roughly come up with, and then we do it all again for the next 3 months. And then again for the audit. So anyway, but thank you guys for everything. Gary, probably, you've been here for a short time, and I keep volunteering you for things, so thank you. And for the internal audit, Warren was great, and Megan Mays used to do it with us. Technically, Sharon and I are not supposed to be part of that audit, but we're really the only ones that understand everything. So if anybody wants to help with that, and it's really simple now. It's so much easier than in 2019 when I took it over, because we can actually see all the reports, all the numbers. The diocese has made it a little easier. So if anybody wants to be part of that, that's also more of we're kind of not supposed to be part of it, but it helps to have other people see all that.
And we have the grace of the diocese that allows you to.
Yes.
So we're not in any trouble. I don't want you to think we're trying to slide something by the diocese here.
The diocese, we've actually asked them for, to do an intense audit, and they're like, you don't need to. So that makes me feel good, but as hard as I am on myself, I always like to have everybody check and triple check. So anyway, if you have any questions, you can text me, email me. If you think of something later, if there's something you want to know about, just let me know. Especially the outreach numbers. They're really, really, you guys should really, really be proud of yourself. And that the church, anything that usually if we take money in and there's a shortfall, like, if we're close to if we have $1,200 and the church will write a check for $15. And for us to be able to do that, I feel like us sharing our treasure as a church is also giving back, and that's how we are blessed with more treasure for our future. So, thank you guys.
Thank you very much, and I'll just echo the outreach portion, I'm going to invite Chesley to come up in a bit to talk about the daughters, and that will entail partially the food bank or the food pantry as well. But Christmas Eve, as an example, the number that Jennifer gave, 1,500, was what we took in, and with a little bit that we had to add, that's what we sent to the Forest Volunteer Fire Department from our 2 services Christmas Eve, which in my June will be the end of my 5th year here. That's the most in my time that we've ever done for the volunteer fire department. It helped that Christmas Eve we were packed for the Lessons and Carols service, which is something I'll let Dana talk about when she comes up. And we had an incredibly strong turnout at our 10 o'clock service as well. So it's cyclical. The more we do, the more people see, the more people come, the more people give, the more we're able to do, and it just continues self-perpetuating. So thank you, Jonathan. Greg, would you like to come up and do the senior warden report? Greg, please come up and do the senior warden report. The first one I gave you an out.
All I'll say is this is your lucky day. The 12 pages I had prepared, I managed to leave at home. I just a hearty thanks to all of you for being a part of this community and for your support. A hearty thanks to Matt. He's been an excellent leader. We're in outstanding financial shape. The buildings and grounds, thank you to the Wrights, are constantly, continually maintained. I drive by this church every day on the way home from work at about 5:45, and more often than not, their car is still here, and I'm very appreciative of that. Dana, you've done an outstanding job with the music, not only every Sunday, but in bringing other outside folks in to offer concerts as well as to support our Sunday services. Jennifer, your report was outstanding, as are you, and your work here behind the scenes between you and Sharon is a thankless task, to say the least. And you've done a wonderful job over the last few years of bringing us into the current climate, the current years with the computer work that you've done, and you make that work for us a whole lot easier as well. There's a short written report that I've made. You're welcome to read that. I'm not going to read it. And everybody is welcome to the vestry meetings. They are the 3rd Monday every month. We do take some sabbaticals in the summertime, but you're welcome to come and join us anytime. I'm in the directory if you'd like to look me up. If you have any questions for me as senior warden, you're more than welcome to ask me questions or catch me on Sundays. For our 3 members that are going to join us, thank you for volunteering. We didn't have to twist any arms or threats or anything like that. It's good to have folks that are willing to help.
It's the candy, Greg.
It is. We do have good candy, so thanks to Jennifer. So come on, Dan. Thank you for all your help. Do appreciate it. And that's all I have. Thank you.
And I would like to extend the thanks to Greg. He'd been off vestry for several years. In fact, I think he rolled off vestry right before I started in 2021. It was back on after several years, and immediately was elected by your colleagues on the vestry as senior warden. So thank you for everything you've done this first year. I know the curve and trying to get back in the swing of things after having been away for several years was a big one, but you handled it as you do with everything with grace and humor, and I appreciate everything you're doing and the support you've given me as well. I'd now like to invite Hal to come up and give the junior warden report.
St. Stephen's initiated and completed 3 capital. Oh. All right. Is this enough?
Oh, yeah.
In 2020. 2025, St. Stephen's initiated and completed 3 capital projects. The paved portion of the parking lot was resealed and handicapped parking spaces were marked and labeled. Trees impinging upon the grave sites in the cemetery were pruned back or removed. And additionally, the arborist surveyed the entire grounds and removed dead or diseased branches from other trees outside the cemetery. And finally, the irregular areas of the brick walkway were repaired. A concrete footer was placed under the mid portion of the repair work in order to prevent the magnolia tree roots from disrupting it again. I'd also like to mention the extensive work that's been ongoing and carried out by our sextons, Bill and Sharon Wright. This year they installed windows in the doors to the nursery and the large classroom, replaced exit lights with energy efficient units equipped with emergency lighting, stripped and painted the office doors, removed fallen limbs and debris from the church grounds and stacked it on the side of the grounds, installed a new Bilco cellar door, built barriers for joyful harmony, built radiator covers in the upstairs classrooms, and cleaned 2 rooms upstairs for use by Joyful Harmony and constructed shelves in those rooms. And there are other works that they do on a regular basis. They clean areas of the church and decorate the church weekly. They shovel and salt the walks when it snowed, and also reconfigure the parish hall for adult forum and coffee hour weekly. And that's it. And that's what they do. Any questions? What? That's my home. Thank you.
And I'll give a word of thanks to Hal, because in addition to everything he did say, the things that he didn't say included the number of times he's been here at the church to meet with contractors as they walked around to look at the work that needed to be done on the sidewalk, the work that needed to be done in the parking lot. The arborist, he's come sometimes multiple times in a week to meet with different contractors and vendors and to go through all of the estimates we receive and put all that together for vestry. So thank you for all the other things you do that you did not include in your report. I'm grateful for that. I'd like to invite Dana to come up first to talk about the music program, and then once you're concluded, Chesley, I'd like to invite you to come up and talk about the activities of the Daughters of the King.
Even lower. Well, I'm not going to say very much because I wrote it all in a report. I tried to list out many of the things that we did musically last year. And I will say that I have several things in mind when I just think about music at St. Stephen's. I want to make sure that every Sunday there's something beautiful. Hopefully all of us singing together and something to listen to. That's the baseline. The next goal is to involve as many people from our congregation to provide us with as much music as we can, and we're small. And many of the people who were involved in making such an amazing music program over many years are now past the point where their voices allow them to make music anymore. So we've been really blessed to have all these young people come in. And I was looking at some of the photos and some of the videos on Christmas Eve and thinking of all the amazing people making music for us, and they were all, except for me, really young. So this is good. It's a really exciting direction for us to be in. I'm just glad to keep more people involved, and I've always got my eyes and ears open to see if somebody's hiding from me that really might be able to help us with the music that's holding back. So anyway, so I want to involve our congregation, and also want to, as we're trying to do outreach with the food box and the trunk or treat, I'd like to, as much as I can, involve music as an outreach and invite the different choirs. We've had Heritage High School Choir for a couple of times. I'm trying hard to get Jefferson Forest Choir to come over. They're a little busier, and their choir director has his own church on Sunday morning, which makes it kind of hard for him to take the choir other places, but could still happen. You never know. And just find different ways that we can involve people from the community to come and help us make music, even if they don't worship with us every Sunday. So anyway, just trying to find new ways. We can't recreate what we had in 1985, but now that we're in 2026, just to look around and say, what did we have and what can we do? So that's what we're trying to do.
Thanks.
So,
Thanks.
sure. Thank you much for letting me try all the crazy things that I'm always trying. Here, sing this new song. Sing this one, but with this tune. But anyway, it works out. So, thank you for being patient with me.
Thank you for pushing us and making us.
I'll bring the colleagues. Bring the team. Except for Kristen. Oh, I'm bringing half the team.
Back up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I need support.
Okay.
I'm Chesley Bowden. I'm the current chapter president of the Grace Chapter of the Order of the Daughters of the King, and this is Amy Freeman Rhodes, who is the diocesan secretary and vice president for the diocese. Treasurer. Okay, see what I know. If I seem tired, I had my grandson last night who woke me up at 1:30 in the morning and said his legs hurt. I said, why do your legs hurt? He said, because I stood on them all day. I went, and you might have heard him earlier, and then his grandpa made his mother come get him, but anyway. I ruined the icebreaker for Matt's sermon, but nonetheless, not about me. It's about the Order of the Daughters of the King and everything we did last year and we're going to do this year. We had a great year. Amy and I attended the diocesan convention, which last year, and set up the prayer chapel and the Daughters of the King information table in the exhibit hall. We will do that again this year in a couple weeks. And we've just had a busy year. Y'all know Charlie Lamb for his Eagle Scout project. That was all over Facebook just recently. That's awesome. Built our food box, blessing box. And we want to thank you all for helping stock it. And we're grateful. Amy has just been really spearheaded it every Sunday. She's packing it in there and going shopping and just doing a great job. So thank you, Amy. She's also putting together an Amazon wish list that you can access and either order things off Amazon or go to your favorite store and purchase those things. There'll be staples. And we'll probably put another list together for just the bulletin or bulletin board. So it's just been great. It's been used. It's incredible. And like Greg, I drive by every day, sometimes several times a day, and I just swing through the parking lot and I look and see if it needs anything. I know Dana's stocked it. I know Mustafa and Jessica have stocked it, and many of you all are putting things in just at any given time. So thank you. Thank you for that. Don't stop. And it's all in the report, but when I wrote the report, I forgot that one of the major things that we worked on. If you're beside me, I feel like you're sitting What's behind all me. these poinsettias? I know, here we go. I need support, I'm telling you, I'm sleepy. No, the Next Tracks program, I'm all excited. I learned about it a couple years ago at SOSA where I work, and this lady was doing it for her church in Bedford. I'm like, I could do that for St. Stephen's. So I got the daughter to say, yeah, we'll sponsor that. And all it is collecting plastic bags, the plastic bags you get at your favorite grocery stores. And a few other items, wrapping mailers, plastic mailers, and there is another list on the bulletin board in the parish hall that tells you these things. And the challenge is you collect 1,000 pounds of plastic. We all know plastic doesn't weigh much. But, and we started this at June around Father's Day last year, and we have a year to collect 1,000 pounds. Well, we're up over 250. And then the Next Treks changed their program because I told all the daughters last week, I said, I'm gonna help me. Y'all help upload it to the website, and maybe that would speed up our poundage. Anyway, so the Next Treks program, the website's down. I'm like, anyway, we're working on it, so I'm really up here to say, please bring us your plastic. There are receptacles in the breezeway and in the parish hall and the kitchen. I know, I have to empty them, I'm sorry. I can't upload my latest one, December 23rd, to the website because it's temporarily closed for the new Next Treks program, so I'll keep you posted. But bring your plastic, we're still doing it, and we gotta amp it up because we got 6 months to get 700 pounds. We can do it. I've got my sister in South Carolina collecting for me too. Don't I, Ray? My sweet husband, as we were packing up the car, and my brother in Chattanooga were coming home from Christmas, and he was packing the car, and I said, here, take this plastic. He said, there's no room for plastic. I said, take the plastic. It was pretty funny. It was a little tense moment when we were coming home on January 2nd, but I brought the plastic. Yeah, collect. What else do we want to say? Oh yeah, that's big. That's in there. We hosted the Diocesan Fall Assembly for the Daughters of the King. It had about 40 plus daughters from around southwestern Virginia. Most of the chapters, there's about 15, I think, in our diocese were represented here, and we had a great presentation by the Reverend Jan Fuller. Blessing your students, prayers for interfaith communities and higher education. So she was a dynamic speaker. It was great. Blah, 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 lots of good stuff in there. Her Amazon wish list. And we will be reinstating 2 daughters coming up soon, next month maybe, I hope. And I want everyone to know, all women, you are welcome to be Daughters of the King. If you have any information, need any information, please ask. We'd love to have you. There's a little discernment period, 3 months, 12 weeks, a little study program to go through, so learn what it's about. But if you're interested, please ask any of us. What else? What am I forgetting? God bless you all.
Thank you both. So I too have a written report in the book that I will try not to repeat verbatim, but I do want to start with some thank yous. Bill and Sharon have already been thanked, but I want to add my thanks for their presence here during the week and everything they do to support me and what I'm trying to do. I want to thank Dana for everything she continues to do to build the music program here. And again, Christmas Eve was just proof that when you put your mind to it and you've got the connections as Dana does in the community, you can get a lot done. And we had 116 people here at 5 o'clock that witnessed it, and another 50 at 10 o'clock that witnessed it. So again, not about the numbers, but I did the math. It was the highest number of Christmas Eve attendees since 2007. So.
And how many online views?
Oh, I haven't gotten the latest count for that. I also want to thank Wes. Wes does a lot of what he does quietly and pretty much without being seen. He comes during the week to put the bulletins together, to print out whatever I need printed out. He spent last week putting together not only the booklets for this meeting, but on top of that, about 100 booklets for a wedding that I officiated yesterday, plus our regular bulletins. He live streams just about every week when he's in town. He's training other people to run the live stream, and there's a lot that I can't get done if Wes doesn't get what he's doing done, and I'm grateful for everything you do, Wes. I know Caroline, with her job as a deputy sheriff at Amherst, can't come as often as she used to, but from time to time she's still back there supporting Wes as he's supporting all of us. So thank you, Wes, for everything that you do. 3 years ago, I'm almost at the end of my 5th year, Lent 2022, Jenny Ferris with the diocese came and did one of our Lenten soup supper programs and challenged us to come up with 3 things that we could do that we want to set as priorities for the church. One was to increase our visibility. And between the signage and the almost overwhelming support we've gotten from local media that have not only run things but actually come and covered events that we've done, the visibility has increased. The second goal was to increase our outreach, and I am not going to go through it, but please do read the list of outreach things that we did this year. It's remarkable. I mean, it's 2.5 pages in this booklet of things that we did in various outreach things that couldn't be done without the support of every one of you all, and the support of people that don't even go to St. Stephen's, but feel that in their own way they have a vested interest in what we're doing and they contribute to it. The third thing was to build an education program. And as Greg talks about in his report, when I started this up again 4 years ago, we'd get 6 or 7 on a Sunday morning. For the last 5 months, we've been getting between 21 and 24 every Sunday. I think, what was your count? We went from 4 tables to 7. But I guess he also said we've got room for more tables, so we've got room for more people. So that's 2.5 of the 3 things. The other half, and this is what I'm stating as my own personal goal for this year, and I hope the church will adopt it as well. I think you all will. It's time to get a youth program going. We had one in the past. We had some volunteers that would come help on Sundays, but they also had commitments in their own lives and their own families, so they weren't able to be here as often as they wanted. We never knew when we were going to have kids here. So the goal this year is to spend the next several months in a congregational conversation about what we want to do for a youth Sunday school program. In February, Jenny Ferris, who I mentioned earlier, and Patricia Cope-Levy, who does youth ministry in the diocese, are going to be here on February 18th to do an adult forum between services and then come to coffee hour after the 10:30 service to help us talk about what we can do. How do we build a program? What kind of curriculum can we do? How can we go about recruiting teachers that, for instance, aren't pulling people away that love going to the adult forum, and then we don't want to pull them away from the adult forum to do this? How can we grow the size of our pool of teachers? And finding a curriculum, and then I'll have to work with Joyful Harmonies to reclaim some of the space that they have been using, and it's great hearing all the kids here. It's a good problem to have more programs that we want to do than we've got space. So that's, a good challenge that the vestry and I will be looking at this coming year. So that's my big objective for this year. So by September, I want to have a program that's built, that we've got a nice pool of teachers, and finding a way to advertise it. Just putting it on the Facebook page and the website and putting a sign out front. For a lot of things works well, but for this, where you're not seeing something going on in the parking lot or out on the lawn, how do we get the word out about that? So that'll be part of what I'm going to ask the congregation to engage in discernment about, is how do we do alternative promotion for this beyond what just used to be, you put it on the website and you hope somebody read it and came. So all of this will be part of my major goal for this year, or my one big objective for this year, knowing that a bunch of other little victories and objectives and successes are going to come up as well. Yeah.
The youth program, are we talking about activities for young people, or are we talking about education?
Starting with the Sunday school program. Thank you. Starting with the Sunday school program, and then once that starts to build, then you can look at youth group and other activities and that kind of thing.
Education.
This is education. Get a Sunday school class going. Because we do still have families coming, bringing small kids. We had a couple at the 8:30 service this morning, and I told them, I invited them to come back for the annual meeting, and they looked shocked, and they're not here. But they had their daughters with them, and I said, this is one thing I'm announcing because the parents and I have had a conversation about they love the church, and they're looking for a place where the kids can be engaged in Sunday school as well. So I told her today that's what we were going to be working on the first several months of this year. And for every family that we see, there are probably 2 or 3 others that have come by and brought kids, and because we didn't have anything, they didn't have a bad experience, but they haven't been back because there was nothing for the entire family to do. So that's my objective this year. It's going to take a lot of discernment and a lot of prayer, but as with everything that required discernment and prayer on our part, we've been able to do it. And I don't see any reason at all why we can't do this as well, and continue growing the church the way. Wow, that was Elijah just walked in. So that'll be my big objective for this year. The other thing to keep in mind too, in a few weeks we have the election for our new diocesan bishop, the 7th. Several parishioners I know went to the listening session at Westminster Canterbury and have watched the video on the diocesan YouTube channel of the discussions had with the candidates as they did their meet and greets around the diocese. As much as this will be discernment for me and for Sharon and Sharon Reynolds and Penny Thomas as our lay delegates to convention, this is something where your input is also important as well. I've shared links to the bios and introductory videos. You can watch the discussions from the meet and greets around the diocese. And if you discern there's a particular candidate among the 4 that you just have this strong sense should be the one that should be elected, let Penny and Sharon know. Because as much as they're there as the representatives, they are your representatives. So as you think about what's coming up in the next few weeks, let them know who strikes you as a strong candidate, who strikes you as maybe a candidate, not this time, but somewhere else at another time. But let them know as well, because the more the 2 of them have as they go into the election, I come from a different perspective as clergy, so what I'm looking at is kind of a different lens, but share with them what you're thinking, so when they come to Roanoke for convention in a few weeks, they're coming with not just their own thoughts and prayers and discernment, but what you all think as well. I don't really have anything else. Are there any questions anybody has for me? I just think it's been, every year I stand up here and say it's been a fantastic year, and every year it's been a fantastic year. And I know it sounds repetitive and old, but each time I say it, it's because of a year that's been joyful and had something new. One other thing I'll point out, and I've told Charlie this too, but the blessing box that he built, the daughters and I knew when he built this that the need in the community was big, but we had no idea how great the need is. Chesley talked about coming by and checking. I know Jill and Amy and Christy come by and check as well. Other members of the community come and drop stuff off. But I think there was a period of time, particularly during the shutdown, where the box was getting refilled 4 and 5 times a week because the need in the community was that great. And so, this is another thing that I'm repetitive about, but I think it bears repeating. People look at Farmington, people look at the apartments here, they look at Ivy Hill, and you see Forest as this prosperous community, but you have no idea what's going on underneath in those homes. The nice car that might be pulling up for the food pantry may be the car that they're about to have repossessed because they're not keeping up on the payments or whatever the situation is. So this one box that Charlie did, and I was so thrilled to see that when I went to his court of honor this past week, Liz and the family and the troop had set up a table of photographs of different things that Charlie's done throughout his scouting career, hikes and leadership projects and campouts and that sort of thing. Almost one third of the table was photos of him and his friends from the scout troop building the blessing box. That was, to him and to the family, and certainly to us, a huge thing that he did, and it was just so nice to see that was represented as part of everything that's gone into his. So I will just end by saying we can, yes ma'am, Nora.
I think we should recognize Pam for what she.
Oh, don't worry, that's coming. That's coming. Yeah, so everything we've done, and you actually teed it up nicely. One thing that's important when people do come to our services and to come to our fellowship is the fact that not only are we feeding them spiritually and feeding them intellectually and feeding them with fellowship, we're also just flat out feeding them. And it's just remarkable. I can't tell you the number of conversations I've had with Pam over the years for whatever event we're doing, coffee hours or receptions after choir concerts or whatever, where there's this one moment of, do we have enough? And without fail, every single time, Pam's pulling out to-go boxes to send folks home with stuff, because not only is there enough, there's an abundance. And a lot of that, I think, goes to the very visible love that Pam has for what she does. I know she hates being thanked, but I hope that you'll forgive me and allow me to use rector's discretion in thanking you for this. It may seem like, coffee and refreshments may seem like a small part of the overall picture here, but it's, as Dana said, it might be the best part. So, so I wanted to, and Nora, thank you for teeing that up. So Pam, thank
I have one more thing to add.
you. Yes, ma'am.
Jennifer does the treasury work, but nobody realizes, sometimes we all realize, that she does the whole ministry. Assigns readers and Eucharistic ministers, and asks you if you are available, and you say yes, and then you're not, and then they call her, and then you're juggling everybody around, so
Thank you.
it's not as tasteful, tasty, as what Pam does, but it is part of what makes everything fun.
Yes, absolutely. And Chesley.
I was just gonna refer to thanking Pam Hicks for coffee hour, and in the words of Father Bob Copenhagen, it's the ninth sacrament.
The eighth sacrament.
But there's 7 sacraments.
Yeah.
All right,
2
so
major,
it's
5
the
minor.
eighth sacrament of the Episcopal Church is coffee hour, so have to have it.
And finally, I want to thank all the ushers as well that work throughout the year, greeting folks, making folks comfortable, helping folks get to and from the altar rail. So thank you for all that the ushers do as well. Are there any other questions or comments? All right, then we'll close by singing the doxology together. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above the heavenly host. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen. Go in peace. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.